That's all right. Hey, what are you doing here? I know. Hey. This is some. Did you have to do my mom?
I do, yes. I always have just.
That's easy with you. Say. Thank you.
No, I'm gonna charge you like $1 million for that.
I'll work it out.
It's been expired.
Okay, that's I'll make some. Let's keep up this line. We're at.
That's what it's for.
I'm still hearing. Hey, how you doing?
And that's what the picture was great.
Yeah. It's just desire. Yeah. Parts of the trash every year. It's
let's show that, you know, that's what we did not be right, but then you have that.
Yeah.
Very short.
Think somebody's good for a couple slow down, six, eight, like, You started doing well, and you said you were doing well. Yeah.
And then you gotta, we can do this all
Put down 2 cents, see. I grew up to a long time. Yeah. How you say that, Sean? That's just something to take it as. Step back and go. What's that? You know what? We got these two. We don't want to sit. Yeah, we broadcasted the, that's what he totally said. Adding a shot here, give this out, I was there. I would be really looking for something.
But that's, you know, it's just sitting here. They're gonna leave it off.
Yeah, hey, I'm familiar with the culture, I apologize. Yeah.
I mean, my son was running.
Golf today?
I went to golf. It's in him for golf. Maybe I'll
Played it on time. Where's this ball? This yours, mine, or you serve on? Or just up here? Oh, thank you. What you got left here? So yeah, Morning.
Yeah, yeah.
I got one of those. And there. Yesterday. You got one in the morning.
Huh?
I got one in the morning.
Yeah, you got one tomorrow.
8:15. 8:15.
Very good. But it was on. Suck it up. From the system. No, it's not good. That's right. It is 9 a.m. Would you please rise for the invocation and pledges to the American Texas flag? I've asked Commissioner Williams to lead us in our opening prayer.
Would you bow with me, please? Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for all you've provided us, for all you've given us, and we remember that we're but a wisp in this lifetime. We ask that you be with all the families, people out there that have suffered loss. We ask that you would give comfort and guidance to all of us, that you would watch over us, that you would bless us even as you blessed Ephraim and Manasseh, that you blessed Rachel, Leah, Rebecca, and Sarah. Father, we ask for your mercy and your kindness, but above all, we ask for wisdom. Father, we ask that those of us on both sides of this wall here, that you would give us guidance and strength, and you would fill us with your love, Father, for each other and for you, Father. Draw us closer to you, and we ask all these things in the name of your Son, who's our Messiah.
Amen. All right, pledge the American flag. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. You may have a seat. I will call this meeting to order, and we do have a quorum. All the commissioners and myself are present. Item number 2, are there any general announcements? Any general announcements? All right, if not, we'll move to item number 3. Are there any public comments?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, sir. First one is is Richard Schmidt. On item number 16, is discuss and consider authorizing the transfer of a 2021 Ford Explorer, inventory number 9322, license number 1449383 to emergency management with a value of $18,000. All right, you're up.
Thank you for recognizing me, Judge. It's my understanding that the vehicle in question is an asset currently in use by the DA's office. At this time, as the court is aware, I anticipate taking office January 1st. I believe that that particular asset will be put into use by the DA's office once I am sworn in January 1st. Obviously, the court is aware of the lame duck provisions pertaining to outgoing elected officials. I'd ask that you consider that lame duck provision and maintain the status quo on the assets, as well as the budget, which I believe has already happened by the court pertaining to the DA's office, so that when I begin January 1st, the assets that are there will still be there. That includes that vehicle. My understanding of the vehicle is has a police package and was utilized by an investigator with police authority. I anticipate putting someone in that vehicle January 1st, assuming that the court maintains that status quo as I've asked. But in opposition to that, I'm simply asking that that issue be tabled until January 1st, giving me an opportunity to review what assets the DA's office has available, whether or not those assets are still needed by the DA's office, and then go from there. But at this point, I'd ask that the issue at least be tabled until January.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Nancy White on item 5 and 8. 5 is the resolution supporting creation of a regional groundwater conservation district to protect and preserve the Carrizo Wilcox Aquifer in North Texas. And number 8, discuss the election of a county assistance district.
Okay.
By precinct.
Good morning, Commissioners
Good
and
morning.
Judge. I'll start with saying that I support number 5 and the discussion and pursuit of a groundwater conservation district. I do feel like this will be a very useful tool to Van Zandt County. I do want to later discuss further resolutions, but where this goes, I think is fantastic, and thank you for pursuing it. Secondly, for the County Assistance District. Now, I want to cover this because I feel like a lot of people don't fully understand what this is. And I want to make sure that anybody that watches this YouTube video understands that when we go to vote on this, if we take an election vote on this, we're not increasing taxes. These taxes are already being paid. The IRS is keeping them. They're not going to return them unless we request to reclaim them. So we're not increasing budget. We're not increasing what people are paying. We are reclaiming what is already being paid to the state, which would increase our county budget for about $4 million. You know, everywhere you look in Van Zandt County, people are like, fix the roads, fix the roads, fix the roads. Well, we have a limited budget. Between all 4 of you, my understanding is it's less than $2 million for an entire precinct each. This would increase the budget by about $4 million, which could be add an additional $1 million to your budget, but it could also go to services like our fire response. Like we have a lot of volunteer fire departments. We need help in our fire marshal's office. That man has ran ragged. We know this. And then also our other first responders, our sheriff's departments and things like that. They need help as well. So this is another way to reclaim what is already being paid to the state back to Van Zandt County without increasing anything further. And I think that that needs to be said. And Van Zandt County should consider taking back what the state is taking and bring it back to the local government by increasing our budget with what is already being paid. So I just wanted to emphasize that further, that I support not only your resolution, but the pursuit of a county assistance district. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Appreciate it. All right, next up is Richard Garza. I'm sorry, Garza. And you didn't put what item, but I think I know which item you're speaking on.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to thank everyone here for putting out the effort to initiate a GCD creation. I realize that sometimes these things can get contentious, given the last 18 months and what all went down with the reservoir project. But given the fact that there's no support for groundwater projects, at least here in the county, maybe groundwater projects, surface water projects, excuse me, here in the county, there's a need that's come to my attention. Region C to our west, which encompasses the Dallas-Fort Worth area, has in its plans, at least in concept anyway, and on paper, that should they need additional water for the Metroplex in Region C, and surface water is getting hard to create and obtain contentious, that they have the idea to come into Henderson County, Van Zandt County, and Wood County and drill high-capacity water wells and drill it down into our aquifer. And then because they cannot bring that water to the surface, it becomes surface water. They intend to pipe that water from those well fields over to Cedar Creek Reservoir, to Lake Fork or Lake Tawakoni. So unfortunately, we fortunately or unfortunately, depends on which way you want to look at it, we've had a blessing and an abundance of water, and we'll continue to have that. We're one of 2 regions in the state that look to have a surplus of water available to us over the next 50 years. But we've got to protect it from exploitation, from those that seek to benefit from it financially. And since there's no, like I say, no support for surface water projects, it even becomes more critical to support that groundwater and protect it. I know that it's additional government A lot of it looks like government overreach, especially since we haven't had a GCD. We're the only region in the state out of the 16 regional water planning groups. We're the only one that does not have a GCD at all inside of it. And so, I think the time has come, unfortunately, that limited government or not, we're gonna have to create one if for no other reason than to keep us from being exploited. But I want to thank the commissioners and the judge for taking the lead on this. I spoke to Representative Hefner at our last Region D board meeting, and I asked him to reach out to our elected officials, both here in the county and at the state level. My hope is that going forward, we conduct it in as transparent a manner as we possibly can, because the last thing we need to do is create some kind of, incentive for any kind of opposition to it, when it ultimately will stand to benefit every resident of the county, whether they know it or not. It's there. How we fund it, how we create it is very, very important. I think the legislation, how that is drafted, is going to be very, very critical to one, it being accepted by the voters. And I think that's another message that needs to be brought out there, that before there's any just overwhelming opposition, the voters on this issue, ultimately, even if that legislation passes down in Austin, the voters of this county must adopt and pass that legislation, or we don't have a GCD at all. So they do have the final say, and I think that's appropriate, but they need to be included in the process to understand what's at stake and how it benefits them. And I think that's the nature of my comments. But I want to thank everybody for.
Thank you. Did you tell us what your position is on water? So
So I,
understand
for those-
your background, please.
for those that don't know already, I serve on the Region D board as the representative for Van Zandt County. So it's Region D, Northeast Texas Regional Water Planning Group is the full name. So we cut it down to Region D. There's 23 voting members. I represent Van Zandt County.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Clayton Conway on the Groundwater Conservation District.
Thank y'all for having this meeting and opening it up to discussion. I'm Clayton Conway. I sit on the Van Zandt County Farm Bureau Board. I've been past president. I ranch here in Van Zandt County. I have a pig business, and I've been a resident for about 40 years, a little over 40 years. We need some way to protect our groundwater in our county. If a GCD is formed, it must be carefully designed in such a way as to protect my groundwater as well as my neighbor's groundwater, while at the same time be legally and financially strong enough to enforce its rules and prevent the abusive commercialization, the selling of our water, which is detrimental to our water supply. There has not, nor is there, a water district as large as what is being proposed here in Texas. Therefore, the problems, logistics, and financial structure in many ways will be very unique. If it is carefully constructed, managed, and designed to properly serve and protect the agriculture community, as well as rural homeowners and small towns, this could be a great benefit to each of us using water from the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer. A GCD of this magnitude must be done right. As you're aware, there's a lot of problems south of us. Kyle Bass has brought this to our attention, and I won't go into any details of that. But if this is done, it needs to be done with transparency. It needs to be done correctly. And Van Zandt County, the Commissioner's Court, and Judge, y'all must do it right. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Clayton. Appreciate it. Next up, Dr. Collins, Dwayne Collins on Groundwater Conservation District.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for hearing me.
I just want to add to what you've already heard. I'm for this water district by all means. I regularly meet with some of the individuals that are on the Trinity Valley Nature River, just south of us, the water district just south of us. And I will not hold back. Kyle Bass has sued them in federal law, has a federal lawsuit against the commissioners individually and as a group. Don't know where that's gonna end up, but expect that to happen. But we need to be proactive instead of reactive. If we sit here and do nothing, we're soft target and they're gonna take advantage of us. So do please establish this water district and do it in a right way that we can do what we did with the green energy, and we did that right. So do this right in farming that district.
All right, thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. All right, next up is Ernie Burns about item number 4, which is the groundwater conservation district.
Okay, so you're gonna go answer me back, are we in the workshop at this time?
No, we are not. Do you want to save your comment?
I didn't want to be on that workshop.
Do you want to make your comments in the workshop then?
Yes.
So we can respond? Okay.
Yes.
All right, then we'll do that. So that concludes all of the public comments. And so now we will move on to item number 4, which is discuss the formation of a groundwater conservation district with up to 15 other Northeast Texas counties. So those of you that participated or watched our last commissioner court meeting is when we met with, we had Brian Sledge present to explain to us about the formation of the groundwater district and how that would occur. And we agreed to go into agreement with him as one of the potentially 15 other counties that will join to help get the legislation passed. This is a long-term, this is more than a year project because it has to go to the legislature to get approved as a groundwater district, and then it has to be set up after that. The legislature meets in January, and they won't conclude until July or August or September, or maybe October. Who knows when they will conclude or when this will get done. But you know, once that's approved, then we move on to the next level, which is to work on organizing the groundwater district. So with that, I have asked Mr. Sledge to be present. Can you hear us okay?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. All right, very good. So with that, we'll open up. Do any commissioners want to have any input?
The Upshur County passed theirs yesterday, did they? They agreed to join.
Did they? Okay.
It was Upshur County yesterday.
So, all right, Ernie, you're up.
Hey, I do, and I appreciate you guys letting me talk here, but I do have some questions. And
let us know what your role in it or.
okay, I'm Ernie Burns. I am the mayor of Van, Texas. Not to say I'm against this, but I do have questions. Many questions, actually. And so I'd like to get them answered because as a mayor, I represent myself here, but I also represent the citizens of Van. So this is going to cost the citizens of Van about $50,000, and probably most of the cities it's going to cost money. So my first question, have you guys met with any of the cities and talked to any of the cities personally?
How would it cost you $50,000?
Because you're charging us 30 cents per thousand coming out of our water costs.
Okay.
So that equals to approximately 50,000. That's how.
What y'all's use is now?
Yes. So that's how that's, so when I say, one of my questions is who pays? So when I ask who paid, well, first, the question was, have you met with any of the city leaders?
No, we have not.
Okay. So then who pays? When I ask who pays, so are just the people that are metered gonna pay, or are you gonna add meters to the folks that have farms for them to pay also, or is it just gonna be the citizens with meters?
Did you watch our last commissioner court meeting?
I have not.
Okay, all those questions were answered.
Well, I'm asking right now out loud.
Well, are you talking about commercial farms or are you talking about just family farms?
Family farms, I
When
mean,
you-
because I'm just a family in Van.
Well, as we discussed in our last meeting, that agricultural and residential are not going to be.
They're
charged.
exempt, okay. So then my next question is, okay, so you're putting together 15, but it started out as 20, is that correct?
That is incorrect. It
Okay.
started out as 13 and grew to 16.
Grew to 16.
You're talking
Okay.
about the number of counties that
So
are
my question is,
participating,
so,
Ernie?
Hmm?
Are you talking about the number of counties participating?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, so my question is, right now, the Nexus Trinity Valley, you know, they're being sued, that's correct? And if the. Who's gonna pay if we run into the same thing and we get sued? The groundwater conservation district, I take it, it's formed. So they're gonna run out of money very fast. Because they haven't got a lot of money, I kind of know what the money situation is down there. And so that's gonna be a problem for them, and they're getting sued personally. So I wouldn't want to serve on the board, and I'm not telling you I'm against this conservation district, I just want it to be done in a way. So if the plaintiff down there wins, that's gonna change all of it. Because you're gonna have a district that has no bite. So when you put it, and I talked to Brandon, and he said, well, we're gonna have, what he said about 20, but let's say 15. But like I told him, if the laws read, you right to capture, and we don't change the laws at the legislature, then the right to capture is still there. I don't care if every district in the state gets in, every county in the state gets in one. If you can't change, you can't go against the law. I mean, even the state can't go against the law. And so if we come into this district, I feel like there has to be some change at the top, at the state, at the legislature. If that's not done, then this groundwater conservation district is going to be formed and you're not going to have any bite, kind of like they are down there. They have no real bite. And if that plaintiff wins, that's really going to take your bite away because he's won. And now he's set the precedent. So I don't understand that. So I just want to know, I mean, with the right to capture, what does the groundwater district do? Maybe the lawyer can answer that.
Well, Ernie, there's a whole bunch of this was explained in the last meeting, but the bottom line is this. The groundwater district is set to control commercial wells, industrial wells.
That's right.
Okay, to allow them, the determination, the groundwater district determines if there's wherever they're putting it in, is there going to be plenty of water for that? And then they determine the amount of water that they can pump out of the ground. Okay, to prevent them from draining the aquifer so much that it's going to affect all the.
I agree. So how can the plaintiff down there sue and possibly win? Because he has right to capture. So he owns his land. He owns 1,100 acres. As long as he owns 1,100 acres, he has a right to draw as much water out of there as he wants.
That's just not correct.
What?
That's just not correct.
Okay, so what is correct there?
What's correct is that the district does have a lot of bite. The district, the rule of capture, to the extent that you're describing an unlimited right to pump as the rule of capture, that's the entire purpose of creating a groundwater conservation district. You don't have an unlimited right to pump in a groundwater conservation district. You have a right to pump how much the groundwater district issues you a permit to pump for. And if you fail to live within the boundaries of that permit, the district can file a suit and has penalty authority up to $25,000 per day that it can seek in court in an injunction to stop you from producing in violation of your permit.
Okay, so you're saying that you could stop it, then why hasn't that district been able to stop it?
Are we talking about the Nature's Trinity Valley District and
Yes.
the Kyle Bass situation?
Yes.
Well, he doesn't have a permit yet. They haven't processed his permits. They're in the process of adopting rules. They have a rulemaking hearing in Jacksonville tomorrow to update their rules to provide more clarity on how much folks can pump per acre owned. And I think once they get those in place and process that application of of Mr. Bass or his companies, you'll see that he's limited in what he can pump.
Okay, well, that would be fantastic. So my question is, have you guys contacted your legislator, our state senator, our state representative, and say, can we change the rules at the state level to help the groundwater districts?
Are you referring to the rule of capture there when you talk
Yes,
about
we
change the
are.
rule?
If you look
The
at- I mean,
entirety of the rule of capture is not, it's not necessarily unlimited. That's the scope and focus of, portion of the scope and focus of the Railroad Commission. They put out field rules related to how much oil and gas you can pump, because the rule of capture, you know, it started well before oil and gas, but it applies specifically. It actually came from English common law, related to a fox that was shot on one fellow's property and it ran over to the other one and he kept it. And they said, wait a minute, I shot that fox, and the court said, no, it's the rule of capture. So wherever it falls, whoever gets it, that's where it all started. Now, the oil, the Railroad Commission says, this is the field, this is our expertise related to how much you can pump out of this particular field, and the Groundwater Conservation District is going to operate very similar to that and make a determination of how much water they can extract, because you don't want to destroy your formation. Water wells will do the same thing that oil wells do, and those things will get to a point where you've destroyed the filament down there, whether it's sandstone or whatever the case may be, and it'll clog your well. You won't be able to produce it. So there's a lot there that the Groundwater Conservation District can do to preserve the water formation that we don't have the ability to do right now. And so I don't disagree with any of your questions. Those are all legitimate questions, and we have more. But I think the Groundwater Conservation District does that. My questions in the last meeting had to do with what kind of mechanism do we have to keep the switch from flipping, and the limitation that it's on commercial wells and then go to each and every individual well. Those are some of the things we have to be a little more concerned about in my mind.
Okay, now my next question is, would be, okay, so you guys, these 13 counties join, right? But counties, whatever, north or south of us don't have a water conservation district. Let's say we have Bike. They don't have a district. So what does this do if they just move further south or further north and they pull the water out of the same aquifer? They're still pulling whatever, 40 billion, 50 billion gallons of water out of the aquifer a year. What good does our conservation district do if all the conservation district, all the counties above this aquifer do not join? What good does our conservation district do if they can do that?
So we had a man named Danny Ayers come in last year. Was it last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he explained the formation of our aquifer underneath us. And I wouldn't call him an engineer, but he's pretty sharp. He
knows water.
He knows water.
Yeah.
He said our aquifer is made up of trillions of little bitty aquifers. As it goes south, it gets larger and forms into a larger main aquifer. And he said if you were to pump high capacity out of these formations, that they will cavitate. So if they cavitate south of us, it raises our water level. And north of us, because
Temporarily, we're raising.
well, if it cavitates, you know. And he said if you put enough of those wells in close proximity to one another, it would cavitate and be something like an earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't think that it could be done up in this area of. So like if it's a Wood County were to allow that to happen, no, this is hypothetical. I don't know that it's a fact because I don't know, but it might not affect us north of us because the aquifer is so fractured into so many small little tributaries, if you would. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
if I may, can I share my screen in a way that y'all can see it in that room?
They give you privileges.
I think we got privileges.
All right.
I think everybody's.
Can you see that?
No.
Just a second.
There we go.
So the point raised by the mayor is a good one, but that's exactly why we're proposing the district that we're proposing. If you look here in the red area, this is the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer that we're trying to protect. Going from Van Zandt up through Rains, Hopkins, Franklin's, Titus, all the way to Bowie, down the Louisiana line to Harrison, down across through Smith and back to Van Zandt. We would have the entire aquifer in the district under the plan that we're proposing. The counties to the south already have groundwater conservation districts. The aquifer doesn't extend any further to the east. To the west or the north. So we're proposing to have everybody in this district and subject to the same rules and regulations, which is the whole point of why we're doing it the way we're doing it.
How many have already accepted that or enacted it?
Upshur County did yesterday. And
And Wood County did also 2 weeks ago.
So everybody that you've asked to go in has went in so far that have voted on it?
I think we're up to 12 or 13 so far, but the others are scheduled to take action. Red River was part of it. You can see them up at the top there next to Bowie. You can see they're not over the same aquifer, and for that reason, I think they're gonna.
How about Smith County? Are they in the aquifer?
Which county? I'm sorry.
Smith?
Yeah, Smith's in it.
Did they accept it or did they refuse it?
Smith has approved it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was just curious. Okay, well, I guess if you have the right bite, I'm all in. I'm all in. But if you don't have the right bite, I'm all out. So, but again, I'm gonna ask the question, if that plaintiff, Selkirk wins, is this groundwater district gonna have any bite?
It's going to have plenty of it. It has all the tools it needs under existing law to do the job. We just got to create one before it can do it.
Perfect. Okay, that's all I'm asking. I'm not, like I said, I didn't come in here to say I'm against it. I'm coming to get the answers and make sure that we have in my mind, make sure we have the bite. Because we need to have the bite. We need to stop all that. So if that's the way it is, thank you for doing it.
Mr. Sledge, a question?
Yes, sir.
This Cliff Williams, Commissioner Precinct 2. Is the issue and controversy in the lawsuit down south with Mr. Bass, is that related to a limitation on production from each well, or is it related to the permits themselves?
It's not really related to either one yet. There's 3 lawsuits. There's 2 state court lawsuits and a federal lawsuit. The state court lawsuits relate, they never even processed his application. And just so you know how it works, it's real similar to like the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. If you have a water or air or waste permit application over there, those commissioners,
Pretty good timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those commissioners refer that off to the State of Office of Administrative Hearings to administrative law judge to hold an administrative trial on the application and prepare a recommendation and propose findings of fact and conclusions of law that go back to the TCEQ for them to make a final decision on the permit application. The GCDs work the same way. And so that Bass's companies had filed their applications. They hadn't ever got to send off to the State Office of Administrative Hearings because there were legal squabbles over whether his application was administratively complete. And those squabbles ultimately have resulted in the state court litigation. So they haven't ever gotten to the merits of the applications yet. Right now, we're just talking about procedural stuff. Then, of course, he filed a federal lawsuit. Can't remember what day that was, a few business days ago, that claiming violation of his due process rights, federal rights, takings claims, and all this because of their refusal to process his application. But none of that's None of that. That's brand new and hadn't played out yet. Ultimately, we'll end the procedural squabbles, and they will send that permit application off to the State Office of Administrative Hearings for a trial, which will take, 6 months to a year. And it'll come back for that before that groundwater district board for a final decision. And then probably, court battles after that. You can only imagine appealing their decision, but that's where it is.
So currently, there are no lawsuits related to or that might limit the groundwater district's ability to place limitations of production on these wells.
No.
Okay,
No.
that's the point, is that the groundwater conservation district has the ability to say you can't produce more than X number, and that's not an issue in controversy currently in the lawsuits down there. So even if they win, it has more to do with procedure than it does to do with.
Well, it's going to continue on that.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, that's a question.
If they win, it'll go to that.
Well, I appreciate your legal analysis there.
Well, I understand, but you know what I mean.
But we don't know.
Regardless of who wins, ultimately, Bass doesn't pump anything until those applications actually go through the hearing process and enter and get a final decision from the board. And they haven't done that.
All right. Well, I hope that we have the fight.
I have a question.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to say this: save and accept Mr. Bass's proposed pumpage from Houston County, which doesn't have a groundwater district and therefore can't do anything about it.
Hey, Mr. Sledge, this is Brandon Barton. I wasn't here at the last meeting, but I had a question I would ask it then. So if this passes and these wells are going to be permitted and regulated, how many gallons per how many gallons they can pump out? Who is gonna regulate? Who's accountable to make sure that they are abiding by the rules? When they report, are they going to be checked on how many gallons they are pumping? Who's going to hold them accountable to keep their feet to the fire on how much they're pumping?
Yeah, the groundwater district does that. The district has, the district to the south of you already there, and the one we're proposing will have regulations that require meters on all of the large type wells that are subject to the permitting requirements. They'll have to keep a monthly meter log. They'll have to report on some periodic basis, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually to the district on their total pumping. Those meter logs and meters are subject to inspection by district staff to confirm that there's no monkey business going on. And then they'll pay their fees based on, that pumpage, or based on the amount that they're authorized by permit to pump once you get to that point. But yeah, we represent a number of these districts across the state, and we have a fairly active enforcement docket that's primarily aimed at folks who overpump.
Okay, question I have, Mr. Sledge, is what is TCEQ's role in permitting of wells, commercial wells?
None, except unless you're a public water system, they have requirements that they implement under the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act related to public water systems and water quality measures, minimum capacity requirements to prevent contamination entering the system, etc. They approve public water supply, well construction, and quality standards, but nothing related to how much they can totally pump out of the ground or anything like that.
But they do require the wells be metered, correct?
Public water system wells are metered, yes, sir.
Okay. So, and that is and for those of you that missed our last session, there's two ways to fund a groundwater conservation district. One way is through an ad valorem tax, generally a penny per $100 that all the voters pay. The advantage to that is you are well funded right off the bat, and you are able to defend. Actually, you're able to create lawsuits to go after people who are violating the pumping standards that have been established by the groundwater district. The other way to, and with the ad valorem tax, then you have an elected board of directors that the public elects to do that. The other way to fund the groundwater district is through fees and permits, and that is the route that we are choosing to take. That requires that the commercial wells, which in many cases are the public water supplies, they were going to pay a per thousand, I believe you said 30 cents per 1,000 gallons of water pumped fee to the groundwater conservation district. And that money then is used to protect them in the long run by making sure that any new large capacity wells that go in are not within proximity of an existing well, and limit in the amount of water that can be pumped out from that well, the new well, based on the existing aquifer levels and the existing amount of pumping going out. So that is what we are doing with this groundwater conservation district. It's going to be fees and permits, which because of that, the initial year or so will have to be funded by the counties, because there will be no fees and permits until it is established and gets up and running. So that is what the next phase. The first phase that we have right now is to just get the legislature to establish. Because as you know, the county has no regulatory authority over water in the county. But if we establish a water district, we then, the water conservation district then does have regulatory authority over, who's pumping. And so the commercial wells that come in will then be monitored in that regard. So that is the route that we're going. All of the details about how the water conservation district will operate are going to come at a later date, when the committee gets together and determines that. We can't tell you right now what exactly the details of how it's going to operate, because we have a year in which to get it formed, and then we can be discussing it and talking about it and see how the other conservation districts are currently operating and what we learn from them. So, Ernie?
I guess my question is, okay, so all counties are gonna be, the whole district's gonna be funded the same way, by each county the same way? By your fees and what, so the meter.
The water district will be funded by fees. That is correct.
Okay, so
Now,
my question is, wouldn't it be,
money will come, has to be determined how.
wouldn't it be more fair if it was funded the other way? And the reason I say that, then everybody pays
When you say the other way.
the 1 cent tax.
Penny on 100.
Because then everybody pays, instead of just the metered water well people.
Well, the people.
Because that is protecting us.
The people.
But it's
that are
also
coming
protecting
down
everybody.
the Commercial wells have the most the most need for it, to make sure that their water supply is protected.
Well, I think we all have that need. And yes, there's maybe 5,000 or 10,000 people in one small area. But they're also, if you fund it the other way, they're also gonna pay the 1 cent on their taxes. So it would seem to me like it'd be more fair the other way. Because then everybody's paying, not just, so now, because the way it's set up now, the people that have their own wells, they're kind of getting a pass, and they're still being protected. Or the other way, everybody gets protected, but everybody pays.
I see your point.
But again, that would have to be voted on by every county. The voters in every county would have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Vote to be taxed an additional penny. Doc, you have a question?
Those people that have private wells cost $24,000 to drill.
What costs us $3 million?
Yeah, okay.
I understand, but I'm just saying, but you're still being protected on that water.
All right. Is there anything?
Mr. Garza has a question here.
Oh,
I
yes, sir.
wanted.
Mr. Sledge, can you hear me?
I do.
Okay, all right. My name is Richard Garza and I serve on the Region B Water Planning Group. Region B Board, Northeast Texas Regional Water Planning Group. I have a question and this may play out in drafting of that legislation, there is some eminent domain authority that a GCD has under state law in chapter 36 of the water code that focuses on GCDs. Is there a way of limiting, and when you draft that legislation, is there a way of limiting that eminent domain authority through the legislation that you create for this GCD?
Can somebody with a mic repeat the question for me? I'm sorry.
Is there a way when you're drafting this groundwater conservation district for the legislature to limit the eminent domain abilities of the groundwater conservation district?
Absolutely.
Okay, that was.
I've never
Go right
known a
ahead.
district to exercise eminent domain authority, so it's not a big loss.
Don't mean that they wouldn't.
Yeah, you know, some of the folks have mentioned in their comments today that this has to be drafted carefully and correctly and et cetera. How do we determine what is correct drafting, and how do we go about that? I mean, I would imagine that the way to do that is that we'll have more of these workshops as we go along, and that the groundwater conservation district, those folks that are proposing it, would have to be open to input there. Do we know how that's going to look, Mr. Sledge, how that drafting is going to take place?
Well, yeah, the structure we've set up is that each of the counties that are participating will have one county judge or one other representative in lieu of the county judge appointed to a committee that's going to meet with me and work through those issues. And I'm going to be the one that's drafting it, and I will probably be consulting with the Texas Legislative Council on any questions we might have as that drafting goes along. That body serves as the attorneys for the Texas Legislature, and of course with our local legislative delegation. So we're going to be putting that together.
And my next question is, once we get in here and this gets operating, if the county says, you know what, this is not beneficial to us, this is not working, is there a mechanism by which Van Zandt County can then extricate itself from the groundwater conservation district?
If you get the amendment or the legislation amended to exclude yourself, yes.
So the way you get in is a legislative action, and the way you get out is a legislative action.
That's it.
From the state, that's a state legislature. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And it's my understanding, you know, based on those little summary pages, that the groundwater district will be funded through fees and permits, correct? And it's not ad valorem tax is not a consideration.
I haven't heard anybody in the other counties that think a new property tax is a good idea.
Nancy has a question back here.
Nancy.
It's already been answered. The legislation choosing, is that all legislators vote on it, or is that just those within the district that would be impacted?
There would be a state legislature, the
So
whole,
all of it.
all both the Senate and the House would have to approve it, then the governor would have to sign it.
Okay.
Clayton?
Yes, sir. As this is formed and carefully formed and designed is very important. This is very complicated. Will we as citizens of Van Zandt County and farmers and ranchers be able to see this process? Or Judge, are you gonna go meet with the law firm and then you decide? Or will we be included in that?
Okay, well,
And my point is, are you a hydrologist, or what specialty do you have? And we don't need, but there's a lot of information and facts that need to go into this to determine what is right. Because it's very complicated, and this is a big deal.
Right.
This is a huge issue, and we do need something, but if it's done incorrectly, we shot ourselves in the foot.
Brian, do you know if these meetings that are conducted between the 16 counties are going to be open to the public, or at least broadcast?
I doubt they will, because from my perspective, they're my attorney-client meetings on my direction as a lawyer on what to do on this thing. I'm sure that all the individual counties will be doing things like you're doing right now to get input to take for the county judge to take to that. But as far as the nature of the question being based on technical issues and technicalities and groundwater law, that's not really an issue that the committee will ultimately decide. The way that the water code is set up, there's a different chapter for each type of special district. The municipal utility districts have a chapter. The water control improvement districts have a chapter. The groundwater conservation districts have a chapter. And within each chapter is kind of one-stop shopping on all of the administrative powers, duties, responsibilities, financing, regulatory authority, exemptions, all of the things that each type of district needs. And so the part of the legislation that deals with the powers of the district will probably just say something like the district has the powers and authority and obligations under Chapter 36 of the Water Code. We might have some slight modifications on that, but the danger you run is that the legislature has always had a weary eye, at least since the mid 80s, I know, on special districts that have different powers than all the other similarly situated types of special districts. In other words, you don't want a municipal utility district coming in that has some special taxing or bonding authority or something that none of the others do. There's been an effort to standardize those. So to the extent that we try to do more with our legislation and make our groundwater district look different than all the others in terms of its powers and authority, the greater the chance we have that we're not going to get the bill passed and not to get the district created. Because uniformity is something that, and that's not to say that we can't tinker with it, because we will tinker with it in certain ways, but how the board's structured, what the, prohibiting a property tax, things like that, that otherwise would be an option under the code. But as far as the technical stuff, there's not going to really be anything like that in the legislation that requires any specialty in hydrogeology. Those type of decisions come once the district's created. We get a board of directors appointed, and the board of directors starts working on a management plan, which they will then absolutely have to hire a reputable hydrogeology firm to assist with that, and lawyers that specialize in this area to assist with that, putting together the management plan and then their rules. That's where all those technical issues start to come in. But we're at least a year or two away from that. If all we're talking about right now is getting the district created, so that we have those problems to worry about.
And once the district is created, what then happens? Is there an agreement that is made for the counties to be part of it? Or they're a part of it no matter what?
Well, I mean, the boundaries of the district will include the boundaries of the participating counties. And the board of directors will likely be appointed, I'm assuming, because if we have 15 counties, the 15 boards, member boards, probably about as big as you want to deal with. We'd have one appointee from each county to the board of directors. And then that board of directors is charged with, starting to retain professionals and hire district staff and getting an office up and running and all the things you have to do. Open Meetings Act and Public Information Act requirements and everything you got to do as a governmental entity in Texas. And they've got to figure out those things. And so the key to all of this is that we need good, competent, good judgment appointees from the commissioners' courts, so that thing is a success.
And those would be appointed, those directors would be appointed by this commissioner's court for each county.
Yes, sir.
The commissioner court would appoint someone to the committee or to the
board of directors. Yeah.
Mr. Sledge, a follow-up question, and this goes to your point about this is kind of a follow-up question, goes to your point about trying to be too unique, possibly. That if each county has a preference for whether that board member is appointed or elected, it has to be one way or the other.
It's going to be one way or the other. And I'll tell you, I mean, everybody loves an elected board and giving the people a voice. The impracticality of doing that on a 15 county district is that you're going to have to, one, because of constitutional principles, you can't do it per county. Some counties have a lot more people than others, and then therefore would be entitled. I would think Smith County would end up with several directors. And just the cost. I've got one district with elected board members that's a multi-county district. Their election costs eat up about 1/4 to 1/5 of their budget. And they do anything to be able to go back and move to an appointed board. And you just don't want the district to become politicized. I represent both a number of elected and appointed boards, and for big regional districts, appointed boards are without question the way to go. If you don't like the appointees, you can just elect a new commissioner's court to get the appointee you want.
Well, so another question. This will be, if it is successful, will be the single largest GCD in the state. Is that correct? If not by total acreage covered, it will be by total counties covered. Is that correct?
I think the High Plains District in Lubbock will probably have you beat on both of those by one county and probably a larger area. But yes, other than that, and I'd like to say something on that topic. The way that groundwater districts were historically created across the state has been a reactive thing. It's been a reactive response to local problems with aquifers. You start having an area with severe groundwater declines, and suddenly the people in that area get organized and have formed a little district. Long ago, late 90s, we started realizing that this patchwork of single county districts was not going to result in good comprehensive management over the aquifer. And we've had a number of proposals in the legislature to just wipe out all of the existing single county districts and, 2-county districts and replace them with an aquifer-wide authority. And the outcome, it's never come to fruition. But I mean, like Charles Perry, the chairman of the Senate Water Committee, has proposed a very similar idea to that a couple of times. But what we always come to the realization at the end of it all is that if we could go back to 1949 when the legislature first created groundwater conservation districts and do it all over again, there's no question that regional aquifer authorities are the way to go, so that you don't have, a donut hole in the middle where somebody can pump all the water out from everybody else that's trying to. So everybody's on a level playing field, so that you have reduced costs through economies of scale and regional management and things like that. And that's, I think everybody's going to be pretty excited that, this district is going to be basically an aquifer-wide authority for the whole northern segment of the Carrizo-Wilcox aquifer. It'll just function 100 times better on all fronts.
Okay, and one last question, if I may. So the legislature meets it starting in January. Will we get to see a finished product to this legislation that can be spread throughout the county and everyone can see it region-wide before January, so that if there is any concern or question, from the public feedback that we get, whether that's at the commissioner's court or whoever's serving as the liaison, that we can maybe recommend a change to that before it goes to the legislature?
Well, you can file bills up till, you can file, I've seen a groundwater conservation district bill that was filed in April, late April, get through the process by the end of June. A local bill isn't subject to a filing deadline, and you can file the bill. Any regular bill can be filed until the second Tuesday or about the second week of March. So I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a final bill. At some point, we will be working with our legislative delegation, and they will take ownership of that and be making the final decisions on what's going to be filed. So I can't guarantee that one way or the other. All I can tell you is that I will be keeping the county representatives that I'm working at the direction of informed, well-informed all through the process.
Well, won't there be a draft of the bill?
I'm sorry?
Will there be a draft of the bill that can be viewed before it actually gets filed?
Yeah, but whether we will have that draft or your legislators will have that draft will be be the big question. But I suspect that we will have a draft bill. I mean, constitutionally, we're going to have to do notice between 30 days and 90 days prior to filing. And we should have a draft bill that's available for review sometime at or near the time of the legislative sessions beginning in January.
Yeah. Very good. All right.
I didn't sign out, so I don't know if I'm allowed.
No, this is a workshop. You're
Sure.
coming.
I just have a couple questions. My name is Steve Rubenthal. I work for the city of Canton. The way I understand this is, there's gonna be some exemptions. So municipal, industrial, commercial wells will be regulated to some degree, but private and ag operations will be exempt. So does that mean if I'm fall in that exempt class, can I pump as much water as I want? With no regulatory authority from the groundwater district?
That decision will ultimately be made under the district's rules. Typically, there is a statutory exemption for all domestic or livestock wells that are smaller than 25 gallons per day, 25,000 gallons per day capacity. That's 17.36 gallons per minute, I believe, that are used exclusively for those purposes. So you can't pump unlimited. What you can pump is within the confines of how big of a well that you're allowed to have without coming into the permitting system and using it for those exclusive purposes. Then yes, you can pump all you want.
But 25,000
without waste.
gallons, without 25,000 gallons a day, multiplied times 30 by 365, that's a lot of water.
It's 9.1 million gallons.
So that's a couple
Annually.
acre feet, that's a couple acre feet of water every year. What I'm saying is that water would be exempt, whereas M&I and commercial users, they're gonna have to pay a tax on that water they pump. But the exempt classes will not have to pay a tax on the water they're using, or a user fee, whatever we'd like to call it. I just was trying to understand how that works.
Yeah, while they can, and while again, the district can set limits on what's going to be exempt from the permitting and payment provisions that it so chooses, the way it plays out in most districts all the districts that I work with, you just don't have enough resources or enough Kevlar to go deal with trying to regulate people's household wells. When you get potentially tens of thousands of them out there, you're not going to be able to implement some type of requirement on homeowners that they all go install a meter on their well, that they send pumpage reports and payment fees into the district. I mean, it would just be, you can imagine as a commissioner's court, if you had to do something that required every single homeowner in the county to report something to you and pay something to you monthly, how impossible that would be to administer. And districts realize that too. And so
Well,
while there's
maybe we ought to ask the electric companies, because they seem to do it pretty well. They keep track of, the amount of electricity that goes through the meters. So it's not impossible. And that was my point earlier,
the electric company can turn off the electricity. The districts can't go out and try to enter people's private property and get shot at and try to shut down their well to their house. And we don't want to go down that path. And I hope nobody's suggesting we do. It's just the facts of the matter is that a typical residential well is going to use, regardless of what the capacity of the well is, people don't run them 24/7, 365. What they actually run them is enough to produce about 8,000 to 10,000 gallons per month on average. And we estimate what their use is going to be based on averages. Actually, the Water Development Board's charged with doing that. And the way to deal with the proliferation of little wells is through well spacing requirements. You want to deal with those people one time and say, okay, anybody wants to have a well, you're going to have to be 100 foot from the property line and 200 feet from other existing wells or something like that. The devil's in the details on those numbers, so that small household and livestock wells take care of themselves because they're spaced far enough apart from one another, and they're limited because they can only be used for those purposes. There's only so much water you can run through your shower or put on your yard in a year, and it ain't 10 million gallons. It's gonna, again, it works out to be about 8 to 10,000 gallons per month per household. They take care of themselves. To do it otherwise, to administer to all those little private wells otherwise would cause, I think, a catastrophic failure of this entire effort.
Clayton, wait a minute, Clayton.
You mentioned the limitations on ag wells. What were those numbers again?
There's no limitation. Well, it depends what let's distinguish between ag irrigation, an actual farmer that's got irrigated crops, versus somebody with, you know, a well out there feeding a livestock tank or some chickens or something like that. The latter are exempt from regulation. Agricultural irrigation wells, which can use a whole bunch of water, are subject to the regulations if the district wants them to be subject to the regulations. But, you know, you just have to, the district board will have to determine, well, how much ag irrigation do we have in use? Is it worth the bite? They pay an absolute much lower fee than the commercial and public water system users do, that the Farm Bureau and the Southwest cattle raisers defend vehemently in the Capitol and in these bills. And it's so you hardly get any revenue out of them. So the question is, how much ag irrigation do we have? Is it worth the effort to go regulate, and the district board will make a decision in the rules on what and to what extent those types of wells are going to be exempt.
Mr. Sledge, this is Bob.
Yes.
I'm Commissioner of Precinct 3.
Yes, sir.
I have a question on the agriculture end of it. We have some large dairies. Would those be considered under the agriculture, or would they be under the commercial?
Typically, if it's a dairy,
large ones.
Yeah, if it's a big commercial dairy operation or a big commercial poultry or operation of some sort, that's going to be a commercial use, and they're going to pay the fee that the water systems and industrial users are paying.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Clayton.
Therein lies the problem. We've got several thousand dairy cows out here producing milk for me and you and everybody. And now we're gonna make rules to make it harder for them. Do you know what the price of milk is today? No. Do you know what it is in the store? Yes. The dairy farmer loses money periodically, consistently. Same way with making money. If you're not an efficient operator, you are not in the dairy business. At one time, there was over, I think, 80 dairies in this county. Now, how many are there, Judge?
I know of
We saw 2 of them.
I know of two.
One just went out. So what we're doing, there needs to be some kind of grandfather clause in here for these people that invested millions and millions of dollars to produce agriculture in our county. So that's the problem.
I felt like that's where you were
Yes, sir.
kind
Yes,
of.
sir. I was trying to be nice about it.
I can tell you that. Those
But
tree
see,
farms.
that's things that we need to address that are specific to us. We also have a nursery out here. They collect a lot of surface water. They have wells out there too. So we're gonna go and tell them, well, you know what? Your water has been free up to now, but now we're gonna charge you 30 cents for every 1,000. These people are not slouchy operators. They keep better books than probably 99% of us in this room. And they watch their margins. And this is something, Judge, that we need to be sure we do, is that this is fair to everybody. Me as a small operator, she who lives in town, the city of Maine. Y'all have a pretty complicated job.
So with that being said,
Yes, sir.
thank you for saying.
Yes.
So with that being said, if you go to the 1%, I just hear me out. He was saying, well, you know, my well's 25,000. He's correct. And I said, ours is 3 million times 4. We have 4 water wells. So that's 12 million dollars. Now, if you do the 1%, it does help the farmland. Because with the farmland, okay, your land is farm ag. So now you're not paying for all that metered water. You're only paying the 1% tax on your home. Because you're already farm ag. So it seems to me like 1% would cover the farm ag. You see what I'm
You
saying?
know what the problem with that is?
I'm asking.
GAX scares us to death.
Yes,
Scares
but I
us to
mean,
death.
it does, but I think that's something they can vote on without taking to the voters. I believe, and that would be fair. You have to take that 1%.
ad valorem tax, oh, it's not 1%, it's 1 cent.
1 cent, I
1
understand.
cent.
All right, we're splitting the thing, but I agree with you,
No,
1 cent.
it's not.
So the 1 cent though would be a more fair way for the ag users, because I'm sure the ag users are gonna say, hey, I'd rather pay that 1 cent tax than pay for, you know, 30 million gallons of water that's coming through and have to pay for 30 cents.
Not
for
paying for the 30 feet.
You're paying for.
They're gonna wanna keep like it.
Exactly.
You're gonna wanna keep like this. But
Well,
if you want commercial use, you can adjust your rate that you sell your water.
And that's what we would do.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, you can't do that.
No,
So it would be to our advantage, it would be to everybody's advantage to go with the 1 cent ad valorem. I mean, I would think.
Mr. Sledge, would you comment on 1 versus the other? I think you already have.
I don't know that he heard your question.
I didn't hear the question.
Taxation or fee? Which is the better of the two? Which is the easier of the two?
That is a question that y'all can answer as well as me. That's not a legal question. But as far as getting something passed and created, if you don't want all your groundwater sucked out from underneath you, I would lay pretty good Vegas odds that the chance of getting a fee-based district passed over a property tax-based district are pretty high.
It has to be universal too, doesn't it, between all the counties? It has to be the same.
The property tax would be administered equally throughout the 15 counties of the political subdivision.
Right, so we couldn't have the ad valorem tax in Smith County have the fee base. It's all gonna be, we all have to be the same.
That's how it's going.
Correct.
So can you put a provision in there for the ag people to have so much water? So in other words, they're using, say, 30 million gallons a year, well, I mean, and that's an astronomical. But versus the farmer who's using, you know.
Well, it's
Can you
like
put it?
Mr. Sledge said, when you start customizing your groundwater district, then you run into the risk of not getting it passed in the legislature.
And enforcement.
Can people be grandfathered in? Can that clause be put in there?
But what about,
Again, you're customizing existing groundwater districts, groundwater.
well, with these dairies, I mean, why could you ag exempt water? Just like we do with our products.
That's what I'm
talking
asking.
about.
Can you not do that?
I mean,
And he made a statement that these dairies are commercial. Excuse me,
Exactly.
they're not. They're commercial agriculture. You go to the panhandle and how many family farmers are irrigating and raising wheat? Those commercially operate.
and they're still ag exempt.
And they're still agriculture. Just because we use in agriculture best business practices doesn't mean that we should be
Tax that commercial.
taxed as commercial. Yeah. So we have to be careful what we say and how we do it, because
Absolutely.
y'all's job putting this thing together is very complicated.
I think the main thing is though, I agree with Clayton, we gotta be careful, but we gotta get it started first.
And that's the purpose of this meeting, is that y'all support forming one. Correct? Y'all can vote on that today, I presume.
We're not voting, we're voting on a resolution to.
No, the resolution
That's all.
to support.
Yeah, that's all we're doing today.
Yes, and I think that's good, but from that point on, it's gonna get harder and harder and harder.
Well, I agree with you, Clayton, but I think that at the same time, we have to get it started first, and then we're all gonna have to do some of what we're doing right now.
That's right.
To make sure, within a boundary of
Oh, yeah.
where we go.
Yeah.
With,
And that was the point of my first comment.
right.
But ain't the law firm gonna be the one that's doing that? Not you guys?
But yes, but we're still gonna have
We'll have a
somebody from
representative.
our county to represent us.
Okay.
The way I understood Mr. Slade, more than likely one person from each county, be as it is such a large district.
Yeah.
So I think at that point is when we start responding to that person, which is probably the judge. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing, I guess. But I think at that point, then we need to all be doing our communications, our saying what we'd like to see or whatever. And then the lawyers take it from there and do what they can with what we suggest.
We would like our opinion to be expressed.
Exactly.
We would like to be involved in it.
I
And
agree.
we realize y'all's responsibility.
Yeah.
We elected y'all to do this for us,
Yes.
but we want to do it right.
Yeah. And we do too. We do too.
And I think y'all do too.
And we can go back to the groundwater districts that have already been established at a permit fee basis and look and see how they have done it. And we have examples, so we can work off of.
Does the county representative have to be somebody on that board? Or can it be a county representative? Because one of you are gonna be off that board, but he be your representative, he's the one that can do it better.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute when we talk about the representative. So any other questions concerning the groundwater district formation?
But one thing is for sure, if that red aquifer, if all those counties vote that in and Van Zandt County doesn't vote that in, that becomes a bullseye instead of becomes
It'll be
part of-
data central,
Well,
data center central.
it doesn't appear Van Zandt County is going to be voting. This is going to the legislature to include everybody in it.
Yeah.
It's not a vote of the county. If we go forward with this resolution right here, we're saying we want to be part of it.
If we don't go forward with the resolution, we're gonna be a bullseye on us.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, we want you to.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Took a long time to get there.
Anything else? We got two more items related to this. We'll go back into regular session. Item number 5.
I think you tell them to go, Mr. Judge. Lawyer.
No, these two other items
Oh,
still relate to it, and there may be questions in that regard. So,
okay.
item number 5, discuss consider a resolution supporting the creation of a regional groundwater conservation district to protect and preserve the Carrizo Wells Aquifer in northeast Texas. I have the resolution here. I'm just going to read the whereas portion of it. And that is, now therefore it be resolved at the Commissioners Court of Van Zandt County, Texas, that the Commissioners Court of Van Zandt County hereby supports the creation by the Texas Legislature of a regional groundwater conservation district encompassing approximate portions of northeast Texas overlaying the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer. The proposed district should be structured to provide for responsible regional groundwater management, conservation, monitoring, and the protection of the aquifer utilizing sound science, local representation, and regional cooperation. Number 3, the Commissioners Court supports a user-funded structure for the district utilizing production fees, permit fees, and other lawful revenue sources authorized under the Texas law with no ad valorem property tax imposed by the district. Item number 4, the Commissioner Court urges the Texas Legislature and members of the Northeast Texas Legislative Delegation to support legislation establishing a regional groundwater conservation district designated to preserve and protect the long-term sustainability of the Carrizo Wilcox Aquifer for the benefit of the citizens of Northeast Texas and the state of Texas. And the final whereas is the county judge is authorized to provide copies of this resolution to the governor of Texas, the lieutenant governor, the speaker of the House of Representatives, members of the Texas legislature, the Texas Water Development Board, and neighboring counties and regional stakeholders. So that is the resolution. Is there a motion to pass this resolution?
Who drafted the resolution? Was that Mr. Sledge? Did you draft that, or did somebody else draft the resolution?
And not me. I think it came from maybe Smith County was the first one to adopt it, and I think the other counties have been using it.
It may be Cass County, I think, is where we
Could
got.
be, could be. I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
But
it was
wasn't-
Cass County that actually brought it. Do you want us to table this? There's no urgency to actually pass it, but do you want to table it for further review?
No, I'm just asking questions. I'm okay to hear the rest of the commissioners' thoughts concerning that. I think that while I agree that there may be fairness issues related to how this is funded, I think that the possibility of getting everybody in these 15, 16 counties to agree to a 1 cent increase in their ad valorem tax is unlikely. And there are certainly other things related to it that do need to be worked. And considering we have concerns, we don't want milk and egg prices or anything else to go up, but we do have an overarching concern to protect the Carrizo Wilcox Aquifer, and we don't want to see it suffer, because if there is no Carrizo Wilcox, there are no dairies, and there are, so we have to be very careful how we move forward. So I'm not saying to table it or anything else at this time.
So is there a motion to,
I'll motion to approve it.
all right. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion to support the creation of the regional.
All right, motion is made, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained? All right, motion passes. Item number 6, discuss, consider authorizing the county judge to serve as the Van Zandt County representative on the joint committee for the creation of a regional groundwater conservation district in Northeast Texas.
And we've moved out of the workshop now.
We are out of the workshop. That is correct.
So
But we can ask for opinion.
So the question that the mayor asked a minute ago was, could somebody besides someone on the commissioner's court be our representative? So can someone besides someone on the court be our representative for our county?
That's a question for you, Brian.
Nobody's contemplated that anybody would be. I'm not sure if it's a non-county employee or official, that it wouldn't mess up all of our attorney-client privilege communications and things like that. So the way that the agreement's contemplated would be the county judge or one of the commissioners serving as the representative on the joint committee.
Because they are elected by the people of the county, and they would be representing the county, correct?
That's correct.
So
I had some of my constituents that suggested that our Region D representative be our representative on this project.
that would be Mr. Richard Garza.
That'd be Richard Garza,
Right.
but he's not an elected official. I don't guess he is an elected official.
I
He's
don't.
appointed.
So we as a commissioner of court will be delegating our responsibility to the citizens to someone else.
It was just a suggestion. He seems to be almost an expert in water.
I would look, I don't know if we can have guests, or someone, attend with us in that regard.
I think he's very qualified.
Can we, is that an option? If we have an elected official as our representative, can he bring a,
Support staff.
a, like Richard Garza, the Region D, on the border there, can he bring a advisor with him? Is that
That's a
legal?
question for me.
Yes.
I mean, I just think this creates all kinds of problems. It would be like y'all including somebody in one of your closed executive sessions with the county attorney because they got good advice to give. It creates all kinds of legal problems. You're certainly welcome to consult with them and get all of their input and then bring that input to the table. But I don't know that that would mess up everything for all of the counties if you were to do something like that. It's not, ultimately, it's the client's determination on whether they want to waive confidentiality and privilege on our discussions with their attorney. So that's beyond my purview, but I would recommend strongly against it.
I think we should go with an elected official, and then, because we're dealing with 15 other counties here, and then whoever it is can go to Richard or Cliff or whoever and get advice from them if need be.
All right, so is there a motion to authorize county judge to serve as a Van Zandt County representative on the joint committee for the creation of a regional groundwater conservation district in Northeast Texas?
I'll motion it.
All right, is there a second? Okay, motion dies for lack of second. At the current time, we will have no representative, but then again, what time do you anticipate that this committee will get up and going?
Probably in a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks. Okay. So we'll put it on the next agenda. Maybe we can get it passed then. So thank you very much for your time, Brian. Appreciate it.
You betcha.
All right, we're going to do two more items and then take a break. The next one is item number 7, discuss, consider additional funding for the Animal Protection League through September of 2026. We signed a contract with Animal Protection League at the first of the year, basically for $14,400, roughly $1,200 a month. Our usage has been around $2,000. When I say usage, the amount of spays and neuters that have been occurred. And these spays and neuters are done at 50% cost. We pay half of it and then the residents pay the other half. And, but our cost incurred has been averaging around $1,850 a month, where we budgeted $1,250 or $1,200. And we have advanced all the way to the end of our contract. So we have paid out our full contract amount and we still have 3 months left. And so the question is, do we want to go ahead, and I can pull from a different contract account that we are currently under budget from in order to do that funding, if so desired. But do we want to do that, or just want to stop the program until we come up with a new contract for next year? So I'm open for any discussion.
Well, I've talked to some local vets, and I think we need to consider how we're doing this. As far as the funding and who is using the services. Actually, we actually got a veterinarian here today. He's not the one that I talked to, but can we ask him for an opinion on this?
Yes, you can ask.
So, Doc, I talked to a local vet, and he was saying that with this, a lot of this is being abused. With, it may be someone, Clayton Conway, he can afford to go a vet and get spayed and neutered, but he's going over here to save money. And it's not what it's designed for. And so, maybe the local veterinarians need to, if they want to be involved in this or or be able to help, maybe they can have some suggestions before we move forward with it.
My first question, where are these spaces taking place?
At Tractor Supply.
And then they're also do one in Pennsylvania.
And I
know
also
that
heard,
our clinic, we do have clients that come in, pay the price we charge. We refer them to Tyler, to Snippet. They make a profit and do it half of what we.
who is doing the spade and neuters for you, Cap, for?
It's APL.
Actually,
Are they qualified veterinarians doing it?
yes, sir.
Yes.
They have numerous vets on staff. They service 40-something cities in East Texas. And we get a printout every month of if it was a dog or cat. I can tell by the price that they're charging, if it was a dog or cat, the people's name. They go by zip code. It has to be a Van Zandt County zip code.
We get the name, the address, and the phone number and email for every owner,
Client.
every owner of the.
And I'm not against getting spayed and neutered, but I just don't want the reason they're trying to help is not get abused by.
Well, how would you know if Joe Blow walked into Everhart's clinic? How would you know that he's not a multimillionaire? Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna police that?
They're paying full services for it and not getting, something that somebody may need it. Like somebody that's in poverty, I guess, that comes and gets some help, they need it. But we have people taking advantage of it to where they can't get it because now we're out of money. I don't know how we.
You're proposing we impose an income test?
I don't know what I'm proposing. But I think that maybe our local vets need to have a say so in how this goes from talking to one of them.
I don't know how you would do that. I don't understand their thinking, and I bet I know what vet that is.
So I guess my concern is, and I'm all for, further research into this, but I don't want to end the program.
I'm not saying that.
And I know I have money in several of the contract accounts that I could use to fund. About $4,500 is what I've talked about doing that would cover the last 3 months of the year. And then we can determine on the new contract for fiscal year 27 new changes that we want to make into the program.
If you go ahead and fund the money that you say you have to finish out this budget year, then you got time to redo whatever plan you want to do, to research it. I mean, I gave you all information I gave you 2 PDFs, one from ABC, which is Animal Birth Control in Waco, and one from Pets for People in Smith County, Smith County, showing that spay and neuter does work. And if we don't keep doing the spay and neuter, then one of these days, one of y'all, one of your grandkids, or one of your kids is going to get bit or mauled. And it's not if, it's when it's going to happen. And I gave up years ago on want to do a shelter here because I realized it's not feasible money wise, and it's not feasible because it would just turn into a holding facility and you'd be euthanizing pets left and right. And then you got a whole nother problem with constituents. I would ask you to please put the money up now to finish out this year, and then we can work on this. On how we want to do it
out, Your Honor.
We have a contract for $14,000, 14,400.
And that's not that wasn't prorated over months?
It was $1,200 a month. We came up to the court when we started using $2,000 a month and asked to go ahead and pay out the remaining balance that was due the fourth quarter early. And we did, and now it's spent. So it's a successful program.
Sure.
So the
there-
question
all of
is,
the-
do we put it on hold while we wait till the new budget year?
But all of the departments in the county are successful departments for the most part. And they could all ask, well, let me just have another quarter. Let me have just another couple of months. And I was looking at Mitch because Mitch is one of the most successful departments.
Good
so-
recovery.
Yeah.
Good recovery.
Yeah. And so that's what, I mean, I have no problem with spay and neutering. And yes, every dog that's spayed or neutered is less likely to have another litter.
Well,
I'm
if
no
they have one, that's a big
veterinarian,
problem.
But I believe that to be the case. And so my thought is that, yes, you can, why don't we just give them $10,000 a month? You know, then, you know, more dogs and cats. I mean, at some point,
That's hyperbole.
I don't know what that word means, but I'll take you.
So what you're saying, Cliff, we had $14,000, we should prorate that for 12 months, and when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in the county lives within their budget.
Right.
And this is a very successful program. I think it is an important program. But by the same token, how many departments are you going to allow just to, hey, just give me a couple more months
You know,
worth of money?
Bobby's always out of money.
Bobby, yeah.
You're not very successful.
Why don't you spay and neuter dogs so you can get a little extra?
Well, I have no way, if you don't put more money in there, I have no way except by Van Zandt County Pet Project Facebook to inform citizens that there is no more money. And I don't think that y'all want the backlash of this, but if that's what we do, then I'm gonna include y'all in all the crap that I get, because it's gonna be a lot. They make the appointments 2 to 3 months out. That's how busy they are.
Who's they?
Animal Protection League,
So,
any spay and neuter clinic
so
right
if
now.
they're making the appointments 2 and 3 months out and they're on a budget, why
Right,
are they appointing more than they can afford?
they're not.
They don't know.
They-
They're the only ones that knows how much.
No, they make, if they're making an appointment, they would know how many they're
Yeah.
doing.
Well, they make the appointments, they know how much, they never know from 1 month to the next who's gonna sign up for it.
But you said they made them 2 and 3 months in advance.
Yes, so they
So
have,
if it's 2 and 3 months in advance, okay, I've got 10 this month. But I only got X amount of dollars. I can't do all these 10, or if you do these 10, man, we're gonna be in trouble because we're not out of money. So they're not budgeting their money according to their appointments.
they probably have to make the phone call to the people and say, do first come, first serve, whoever made the appointment first, and then call the rest of the people and say, we'll
So-
keep your appointment, but we will not be able to honor the 50% off because the county does not have any more money in the fund.
Or
I think
because
it's
we
the same
took too
thing
many
with
appointments.
roads is, you know, I've got 20 roads that I want to get done this year, but I run out of money. And I told Mitch, man, I'm sorry, I told you to get to your road this month, but I'm out of money. We'll get to it next year. Same principle.
So doesn't, on this, are you the one that actually pays them out of what we supply you with?
No.
I'm a facilitator.
Check for $1,200.
$1,200 a month.
So they know upfront they're getting $1,200 a month. So why aren't they just doing that?
That's what they
Cut
do.
it out. That's not what I'm hearing, that we went from $1,200 a month to $2,000 a month.
If that's what they were doing, we wouldn't be sitting here wanting more money.
Actually, what we did was in June, we changed it to a quarterly payment of $3,600 a month. So Judge Reese and I wouldn't be going back and forth all the time
It
with the
don't-
county and,
Sure. It don't matter if it's a quarterly or a monthly payment.
right.
You've only got so much money, so it's their responsibility or your responsibility or whoever's responsibility it is to tell them that you only have $3,600 quarterly.
They know how much, APL knows how much money they're getting and they let the people make the appointments. And then when they get there, when the people get to the clinic, if APL does not have any more money in what they call the Van Zandt County Fund, they inform the people then that they will not be getting the 50% off because the county has run out of money.
But if they're doing these appointments 2 and 3 months ahead of time, like you said they were, they should be able to plan and make that many appointments to cover that money will cover.
Well, they
Instead of
don't,
making-
they don't know if Mitch Curtis is gonna make an appointment and then not show up, or if,
That's part of it. That's part of that. That happens every day in other businesses. You know, and so this month we didn't spend the 1,200. We
the
have.
point
we have
is,
for next
they,
month an extra.
the point is, they have got $1,487 left in the fund. That'll probably be used up per Sheila Phillips with Animal Protection League. That'll be used up in 2 to 3 weeks. And then there will not be any more money in the fund to do the 50% off. So it's just a question of, are you gonna
I'm not against-
fund
I'm
more
not
money,
against
or-
what we're doing here as far as taking care of the dog, but you know, like I said, we do have a responsibility.
We allotted so much money. And they just thought, I don't, I'm assuming here, maybe they just thought, well, we'll run out of money, we'll just go get some more. And then they run out of that, we'll get some more.
They're not asking for it. I'm asking for it. APL is not asking for it. I'm asking you as a constituent and an animal advocate, if you could come up with this money. If I know you've got everybody and their dog asking you for money, lots of money. But we've got a momentum going here. We've done 40, 50, 60 dogs a month, all this budget year, except for February, there was 3. And
You're asking, but they mismanaged it.
No, they've not
They,
mismanaged
all of
it.
us agree that they mismanaged it.
Okay,
Or either that or we're not understanding something. I'm not angry with you. I like what you do. It's necessary.
We allow them to go beyond the 1,200 a month.
Who's we?
The commissioners court by advancing the money on the contract.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go, maybe we.
So we're gonna have you're gonna have 2 months where you can't do any.
correct. Not at the 50% off, right? And if that's what you decide to do, then I will put a post on Facebook to the 13 sites that I do this on and let them, but I can't do that because then they're liable to not show up. They might get the pet fixed anyway and pay the full price. I mean, but I understand if you don't want to do it.
And Judge, what you just said, I'll disagree with you. We get a budget for roads. And if we spend it in 1 month, guess what? We're done. I mean, so we weren't responsible for them mismanage it because, I mean, we don't have a monthly contract on how much we can spend for roads. We get our money and it's a year deal. So we weren't responsible for that. They were responsible for mismanagement.
I agree with what you're saying. I do not agree with the word mismanagement. They have not mismanaged their money.
They misbudgeted. It's better.
They've not missed anything except spade and
There was a
dogs.
greater demand than there is a supply.
Yes.
Is the best way to put it.
And I
Right.
would hope that you could come up with some more money where we can keep this momentum going. That's provided that you even include it in the next budget year.
So we will do some further research to work on next year's contract, but it doesn't appear that this court is wanting to fund anymore for the rest of the year. Okay?
I appreciate your
All right.
time.
All right, now we're gonna move to item number 17, which is for Mr. Woodrum for changes in the bidding. Change request for road and bridge materials from Woodrum's Construction.
Oh,
I'm not letting him talk, I've got the papers and all.
we got a motion to table that or something. Yeah, Judge. Number 7.
No action. No action.
No.
There's no action.
No action.
No action. Lots of talk, no action.
But I mean, like, you're part of it, so.
Well, gentlemen, I'll make it quick. We have recently incurred some price increases on our material cost and aggregates for road building. Last year, we did not come back to the court for an increase in price. I would love to, but we're trying to keep it cost effective. This year, it's not cost effective with the price of the material, the way it's gone up, price of diesel, tires and everything else. We're not able to sustain where we are currently in our bid. Your bid, I believe it took place and started May 1 of this year. For the contract year, we had material increases May 1, June 1, and July 6th. So I believe Nicole has been with the auditor's office, has been provided our requested change order and hopefully provided it to you guys. Historically, we came in, presented it and not had any issues, but if you gentlemen have any questions, I'd be glad to answer anything I can.
I think all of y'all have the, exchange order request in your documents. There were no other bids as far as lower bids for any of his products that he's submitting a change order request for. And I asked that you either accept or deny his change order request for all the products that he's requesting.
And I'll just, for the public sake, crushed concrete is a $2.50 increase per ton. The crushed rock is $2 increase per ton. And the everything else is $1 increase per ton, from what I can read on this. And then oversized, I think that's is that riprap?
Yes.
I don't know, is goes up anywhere from $1 to $2.
Is that the 3x8?
The
3x5?
3x5 goes up
$2
$2 per ton, and 3x8 goes up $1, and 12x24 goes up by $1 a ton.
So just to let you know, my reclaimer, at the beginning of the year, we were buying bullets, which are the teeth that grind the road up. They were $9, a little over $9 a piece, and they're at 40 now.
A piece?
Yeah, they were 34 last, I don't know, week before last, and the guy told me this week they're around 40. So it's amazing. Fuel, just the cost to run is
Well, and I can confirm that I've been in emails from some of the vendors that supply them, that they have increased, because I'm always telling Keegan, no, you tell them we're under contract. They can't do that, they've got to bring it to court. So I know their company has been affected by price increases from direct emails that we've gotten from those companies.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
So is there a motion to accept the pricing changes, let's see,
So moved.
for the road and bridge materials from Woodham Construction? So Commissioner Curtis has made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Williams is second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, we will now take a 10-minute break. Please be back here at 5 minutes till 11. And I do believe the second half will be a little bit quicker. You bet.
Brian, how are you? Well, we were this pricey because I'm in the flow side. We need to order all rock we can get out of it. Still to go with this. So I think we're good on rock for a while.
Good, I'm in the box, we'll see. Thanks.
How are you, young lady? I agree. And so. We don't run enough, right? We don't run enough. Well, I got your schemes for all. So I figure I might want to slide with the next version. You know, Christmas ain't no way we've ever seen it. I heard when I was seeing a request, so yeah, so I got to send it to you. And then-
Yeah, well, you know, we had it 10:30 in the morning. So by the time we were done, yeah, good that you started. Yes. But I think it went off well. I think there was great training.
Oh, sir. Yes, sir, I ran out of battery. I was away to the workshop in there, that's what we got done.
Yeah, several years ago.
Rest of them out there.
We were in Lexington, Colorado. But, you know,
That's not free.
the story, I never called it, started the air parade. Like, they got done making things before you. Yeah.
That's right. Keep going, and I'll run up, I'll scrub it. That's not fun, did you mind? And it's. Never stop.
Yeah, it was pleasant all day. Not too many places to say that.
Hey, Richard, before you get off, then I'll hurt you. I'm headed out of the city. You're
Good to see you. Been doing good. We almost got some. Yeah, several. Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all have a good one.
You get it all?
You too. See you.
I got
You get enough?
Well, I tried, the mics weren't picking up as good as they need to, so I need to get me one of the good boom mics, so ranch over that's next on the.
Thank you, Clay. Appreciate it. You bet.
We need to talk.
Okay.
This process goes on.
Okay. All right.
Big deal.
Well, I thought, you know, I need to come to the board meeting and get input from you guys.
Yes.
So just feel free to invite me the next one or whenever it's convenient for you.
Yes, sir, because that is something important.
Yeah, yes.
Gotta do everything.
And it's the only ability we will ever have to do any kind of control, so. Unless unless we want to deed it over to the state, but then.
We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll put you on the agenda and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Thank you.
She didn't vote for us anyway.
Forty-four?
Until?
Football season.
Is this high school you're talking about, 44? Yeah.
These new rules, we may not be able to practice.
I tell you, if we keep moving Friday games to Thursday on the schedule because of referee shortages.
We haven't moved any, have we?
There's a possibility the Brownsburg game may move to Thursday.
Oh, really?
But Canton had one of their games moved, had a little coming here in September. And there's close.
Well, I was talking about the new weather policy with UIL. But you can't practice and it's like 96 degrees. I was like, what's 96 degrees in August? 24/7 around here.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just show up to a game and play. Hadn't had practice. Or every school.
Your son will be ready regardless.
Yeah, he'll be ready. Or every school in the state's fishing to get an indoor facility. One of the two. It just ain't tough like they were back in the day. We had to endure it.
Got a different color underneath it. Nothing was a tag, I called the meeting.
It's unfortunate you got a referee shortage though, but you know, the way fans are now, can't blame them.
Oh, that's very true.
It's the, I'm not gonna say the parents, it's the fans' fault we got a shortage because of the way we act.
Yeah.
Well, I've done some little league baseball games, T-ball, 8U, 10U. It's just a baseball game in the middle of the year and they're ruthless.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Didn't say a lot of good about society.
No.
Hey, Tabitha, does that mic need a new battery or need to be turned on or?
He can turn it on.
There we go.
Those glasses are still here.
Yeah, he's got on a phone call, so. We will move, we will resume, at 10:58, and we'll go to, item number 9 while we wait on Commissioner, Williams to show back up. 9 is discuss, consider approval of participation in the federal off-system bridge program by Van Zandt County Road and Bridge Precinct 4, and authorize the county judge to sign all related documents.
So this one is mine. So TxDOT is going to build a bridge on County Road 4713. And let me get to it here. That work is going to be around $600,000 that they're going to do. And it's my obligation through the way it works is that I've got to match 10% of the cost on some sort of road work. And at first I went through there and I had this project, trying to piece it together to make $65,000 worth, but it didn't qualify. This didn't qualify. So what I decided to do was on County Road 4206, at Alligator Creek. Right now there are 3 tank cars that go under the road to help the Alligator Creek drain. And in the spring, it still goes over water. And so what I decided to do is to build a bridge to help with the flow of the river or the creek. And that is going to be $193,000. I've got 5 years to complete it. But it does meet the requirements of the 10% by a long shot. But that is the requirements that I have to have is to match about 10%, which I've required, and I want to put the bridge on 4206, which I got an estimate to be $193,000, which meets the requirements to 10%. So
Times 3 times as much.
Yeah, 3 times as much, but I think it will help.
So wait, is the
those-
bridge replacing the 3 tank cars?
Yes, the bridge is replacing the 3 tank cars.
Okay.
Not the $600,000.
No, what TxDOT is doing,
600, that's a different bridge.
that's a different bridge.
This is just
Yes,
to replace the tank cars.
and make a bridge.
Another deal is you can probably use them tank cars somewhere
The
else.
tank cars are rotted out.
Or
Yeah, so we have to pull them out anyway and replace them, which wouldn't be cheap. So we're just going to do a bridge and fulfill this requirement. So
about $12,000-$15,000.
yeah, I'd like to make. Go ahead.
You doing the work yourself or you have?
Heck no, I ain't doing the work. I ain't building no bridge.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go out for bids, being over $100,000.
All right. He can help me on this. There's something with TxDOT and the way this works. I'm not saying we don't. I'm not saying we do. I haven't got to the fine tuning of how to do this. I'm just trying to get it approved now. Now, if I have to go to bids, then yes, I will. But isn't there something with that TxDOT where you don't have to do it?
You don't have to do it on 4713. Now on 4206, since the revenue gas, we've got rent inspection, at least the auditor's office and get all that done. But in 4713, the federal level goes out to bids on all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'll go up for bids on it. I didn't think you were wrong. I was sure. But yeah, the one bid that I did get from a local guy, he's a local contractor, was $193,000 because I had to get a price to tell TxDOT.
Well, you have to get a price to know if you need to go out for bids.
Yes.
Okay.
You'll have to have specs.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
How does the bridge on 4206 relate to the bridge on 4713?
It doesn't. No relation at all. 4713, TxDOT has decided to do
That's
that.
the only thing on your agenda item is 4713.
Well, he's just telling you it's a matching program.
Yeah, I've got to match 10% of what TxDOT is doing on 4713.
And that's where 4206 comes in?
Yes.
He has to match it
That's
somewhere.
what I was asking.
The bridge that on 4713 that TxDOT is going to do is approximately $680,000. I have to match 10% of that. So that means that I have to have a project that's $68,900.
So, okay, so when you say match 10%, we don't have to actually give them 68,000.
No, we have to have a project that costs that much.
Okay,
And I
all
have
right.
the bridge on 4206, which is I've got an estimate for 193.
Okay.
Which fulfills that 10%.
Okay.
You have to spend that much, but you don't have to give it to them.
No,
Right.
you just have to
Okay.
spend that much.
All right.
And you have to report it to TxDOT on what you're doing.
All right.
So I motion to approve the participation in the federal off-system bridge program for precinct 4.
All right. Motion is made by Commissioner Barton, second by Commissioner Phillips. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item number 10, discuss considered approval of selection grievance committee per Texas Local Government Code section 152.015. At our last commissioner court meeting, we approved using a pool, selecting the grievance committee out of a pool of past grand jury members. So we will now draw for names of that. And actually, I will, I don't need to do the drawing. Yeah, we'll let Bobby.
Probably can say their name.
And just read us the name.
Valerie White.
Valerie White.
Did I draw one?
And this is the order in which they're drawn is the order in which they will be on the panel.
Mitchell Grower.
No,
Heather Nip.
Okay.
Just one.
And I believe we just need 12, but we go ahead and draw for, yeah, alternates.
Jim Tunnel.
Jerry Cassell.
Cliff Williams. Oops.
Matthew D. Dickerson. That's D-E-E.
Nicholas Clark.
6.
Levi Roberts.
Wesley Ray Price.
Doris Jean Sweet.
Jeremiah Carnes.
Omar Stafford. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Maria Elda Denbo.
That was the number 12, and now we're doing alternate.
Okay.
Jalen Lands.
Donna Wiggins.
Doing more.
I think I do 3 alternates.
I think we draw the whole, all of them. Yeah.
Christy Lozano.
Lozano.
To do all, so I don't.
Well, that's what I'm.
Linda Whalen.
Terry Adams.
Kimberly Ann Lindberg.
Robin Holting.
Yeah. Robert Mackey.
Sandra Lands.
Stephanie Diebert.
James Wesley Pinkerton.
Amy Rucker,
Gary Sullivan,
Jason Pathick.
No,
No, there's no C.
work for the video. Melissa Holmes.
Tracy McElvaney,
Stephen Moore.
Yeah. All right. We have drawn the names for the grievance committee, and now we will go back to, actually, we will move on. So we got yes here. Item number 11, we need to table.
do we gotta approve the grand jury or just,
We just did by the selection.
oh, we don't have to motion to approve them that we can draw?
Go ahead.
I'm motion to approve what we just draw, the
All right.
grand jury.
Commissioner Barton motions to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 11, discuss and consider selection of architect for RFQ 2601. We need to table this item because the scoring committee was unable to meet before this meeting. They're meeting tomorrow, and that's what the special meeting, special commission court meeting on Friday will be, to actually do this. So is there a motion to table?
Motion. Second.
All right, motion made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 12, discuss consider awarding a contract for RFP 2602 for the jail video surveillance system for the scoring evaluation committee recommendations.
Yeah, I was on this committee yesterday and there was we had three companies submit their qualifications. All three of them were qualified. And we went through here and we selected AIO with the bid, and based on the scoring of the points. AIO came in with 537. Sustainable came in with 414, and MCA came in with 271. I don't know if you had any discussion on it. I know we have a representative from MCA here, but and we have Ernie and
These,
yeah, I couldn't think.
these are pretty good scores out of 100 too.
Yeah.
That's
And I'll go over what the committee said. MCA, we'll start there, was very well qualified, but it was like
Inflation.
putting a Porsche on a Pinto. That's the way I can describe it. You know, it was over double the price of the other two. And it's something that we just, it doesn't make any economic sense for us to go with them. Sustainable and AIO, sustainable was a little bit higher. But once again, they were qualified. AIO is who we are working with now, and we have a relationship with them. And everything was good. The only thing we really didn't like about it was the warranty. But as far as everything else, they outscored everyone, and we have a rapport with them, and that's who we went with. And they are out of Forney, is that correct? Forney. So if Ernie or just Bednar want to talk about it, they're the ones that are going to be dealing with them. I guess I'd give them an opportunity to speak.
Yeah, you made us being on the committee, we were able to all work together and and I know as far as our mass customer business partner relationship, I think everybody came to understanding that they work real well with Michelle and needs never, you know, Johnny on the spot. If we had problems, they would show up. Never saw any service fees. They never billed us for emergency situations. So, I mean, sometimes those things are pretty critical when we need somebody out there in jail to help us get fixed. So, I know that's company standard, we sign contracts for the services and like that. And that's just something this company does on their own, and they don't ever, we've never received a bill on it. And I believe some of the people at the courthouse that have utilized him, they don't understand a bill, so he's there, he's very dependable. So it's just a fast working relationship, simply. And that was the main choice to us. The cameras are in there now, they're antiquated, been in there for several years. So the product that he has offered up, I think it's pretty much what he said for, when it comes to him. I think that's the committee, that's probably the Any question?
Do we know what the amount is?
The bid was, that bid was for 123, I believe. Don't quote me on it. It's on the packets.
Well, if we're gonna approve the contract, we need to know what the contract, or will they have to come back with a
I
contract?
thought this was, RFQ. Is this?
Yes,
Oh, this is RFP.
yeah, RFP, right?
Yeah, this is RFP.
We passed on the RFQ because it hasn't been scored yet. That's
Okay, then I'll go get those. So let's move on to something else and we'll come back to that. I'll go get them.
okay.
Stuff that I don't have.
All right, I will go to item number 13. And that is discuss, consider authorizing budget line transfer from a contingency to fuels and lubricants for the sheriff's office in the amount of $66,000 due to the increase in fuel prices in 2026. And it is also agreed that the rebates or refunds from the comptroller's office for fuel tax used by the sheriff's office for the months of October 25 to September 26 be returned to the contingency account. So the sheriff is at risk of running out of budget money for the fuels and lubricants when the price of gas rose in March of this year by $1 to $2 a gallon. And his monthly bill went from $14,000 to $22,000. And to compound that, part of the budget calculation for last year was based on getting a refund of 20 cents a gallon for the gas that they purchased, since the government, the state government or the county government is exempt from the 20-cent state tax. But in order for us to do that, they go ahead and buy it with a credit card system, but we have to issue a refund or request for the state to issue us a refund. And the auditor's office has not been able to get that done. And we have up to a year in order to get it done. And so what the ask is in this agenda item is that we'll go ahead and advance them 66,000, and then when the refunds come in, they'll go back into contingency, not to the sheriff's office in that regard. So are there any questions?
I'll make a motion that we do this.
All right, motion been made by Commissioner Phillips. Is there a second?
Second, are we gonna apply for this money back?
Yes. Yeah, we're getting some of the migration issues completed before that. It's very time consuming.
It's a very tedious process. But we did apply for a refund for September of 25, because that's when the first month it was available to us. And we got $1,200 back in that month out of basically a $13,000 bill, I think. So
That was before the last one.
right, prices went up, and I tracked it and showed it to the sheriff. You know, when the prices started, and it started in March when the activities began in the Middle East. So a motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
We can go back.
All right.
So we're not approving this contract. We're just approving to hire AIO.
Okay,
So we're not approving a contract.
we're accepting there are.
Yes, and for transparency purposes, the bid that came in from AIO was around 124,911. The bid from sustainability was 293,727. And the bid for MCA, make sure you're sitting down, was see that big number somewhere. $589,609. So those are the three bids, but we went with AIO, and we are voting to hire them, not voting on the contract.
Okay. So is there a motion to use AIO for the video surveillance system for the sheriff's office and jail?
I motion.
Is there a second?
I'll say,
All right, any further discussion?
Bid. These are yours.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign. Motion passes. Item number 14, discuss consider transfer contingency for road damages caused by sudden storm in the precinct 3 on March the 4th, causing major road damages due to excessive rain falling in a short period of time. And I asked Bobby to do this because, and I'll let him explain what happened because they and what the costs were involved.
we, on this particular night, we had anywhere from 6.5 inches to 10 inches of rain in a matter of about 4 hours, maybe 5, somewhere in that neighborhood. I was out in it. There was places I was driving in 6, 8, 10 inches of water that I've never seen water. You know, Highway 64 was over water right in front of the barn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got water in the barn, you know, which hasn't happened very often, or that's the only time it's ever happened. So anyway, we had lots of culverts that just washed out. I mean, they just come out of the ground. And when that happens, they usually end up against a tree out there in the pasture and they're smashed and they're not reusable, you know. So we had to replace a lot of culverts. Then we had a lot of the roads that just, it washed layers of asphalt off of them. If they were asphalt. I mean, it was gone. There was places that there's a guy got a deer ranch that's got an 8-foot fence. And the water was 4 and 5 foot up on that fence and actually laid it down. You know, we had during that process, there was a guy had a 250-gallon butane tank that disappeared. It's gone. It's hooked up to his house. It's gone. I think they finally found it 2 or 3 weeks later down the river, you know. But anyway, so the judge he asked me to do it. We went in, we figured the cost of everything that we done. And I went ahead and I figured total cost, just like if I had a contractor come in and had to do it. And it set us back about 2.5 months repairing what was tore up from this water that we would have been working on other roads and spending that money on. So I figured it up and it come to, I don't have it in front of me. I gave it to the judge. I think it was $224,883.33.
That's broken out $12,690 in manpower, $125,915 in material cost, $67,027 in machinery cost. So
we broke it all down, you know, so that we wasn't trying to hide anything. We just showed what it cost us to do it, you know, and that's what I turned in. I guess that's what I'm asking about.
So, And some of these roads you had just finished rebuilding, correct?
Yeah, we had to go back and redo.
So, and consequently, because of this, you are basically out of money for the,
I'm out.
and your road and bridge.
Yes, sir.
Or you're out of material money.
Yes, sir.
You didn't bring no pictures?
And this,
I think they were on precinct 3 at work.
this would not qualify dollar wise for FEMA for any kind of reimbursement. And it wasn't declared a disaster because there wasn't significant, the level of damage was not above a disaster level, so no disaster. So the question is, do we want to help Bobby out of contingency?
I would appreciate it.
And you know, I'd recommend 100,000 to cover its materials, not full amount, but 100,000.
Where'd you come up with that number? Just curious, I mean, like. Are you saying just the minimum of the maximum of 100,000?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
to come out of contingency.
How much material was it?
$125,915.35.
Did you have to buy any equipment to replace equipment that was damaged in the rains?
I had to buy culverts and stuff. Yeah.
Is that included in your materials?
Yeah.
Bring down the outside services.
I don't know. Not bad.
Well,
That's another $19,250.
Well, I'll suggest we give him 90 then.
Do like the state, we'll match 2%.
I'll do away with that 19 if y'all give me that 224.
I like the judge's number better. Well,
So you're saying, Judge, you're saying take money from contingency to supplement his budget.
Yes.
Because of
this very unique situation and because we cut quite a bit in the last budget cycle.
Sure. So together with your material and outside cost, 25, 915.
I'm saying no less than 100,000. That's
what you got in contingency right now?
Be $145,000 with the outside services and material.
That counts as overtime? Did you have some at overtime?
There was some overtime in it. Lots of regular time. Right there.
So
I'm good with material.
Is your motion the 145?
Let's
make a motion.
That's your.
I'll motion to give them $145,000 back for materials.
How much?
145.
145.
Would you do half of the labor too, on top of that?
Up to them, take it over there, on top of it.
Because you still would have been paying them to do other stuff.
I second that. I'll second it.
All right.
And it, you know, I remember the rain. I do remember it.
I do too, because I was listening to radio and Highway 80 was covered up. They got the highway patrolman to block it off.
Jeff was out there.
Yeah. So there has been a motion made to move $145,000 from contingency to road and bridge materials precinct 3.
I think Cliff's got something.
Yeah.
Are you, is that gonna help you? What are you asking for?
I was asking for the full amount, but.
And
let's try to negotiate a little bit.
What's the full amount?
I withdraw my second.
Well, without that 19,000 and 200, it's $224,883. But then you put the 19.2 on top of it, you know, you're at what? 245?
And what's the 19.2?
That's the outside services where I had contract stuff done that I couldn't get to.
Well, I think your labor was going to be there no matter what, and I think we're opening up in a box where, you know what, hey, I'm out of money, I need some more money, but I know this is a special deal, and you've had to spend that money on material, which you would have not had to if this wouldn't have happened. So I agree totally with your material. but your labor is gonna be there no matter what.
Can you say 145?
That's what your
That's what the
material.
motion has been made and seconded.
I'll second it.
Roll with that.
Okay, well, the motion is made
It's been
second.
Didn't I do?
Oh, is it, all those in favor say aye?
Ah,
I would,
Nay.
I would say that if we went back and looked at it, you know, if we'd cover everything but the labor.
I think that's what I did.
No, you didn't. Because if he could cover everything but the
Didn't
labor,
cover the machinery
the
cost.
machinery and the 19,250.
But
No,
what,
not
what,
2250 in this.
what's in the machinery cost?
The machinery costs 67,000.
Yeah, I know what the number is, but what are you talking about?
The usage of them and how long we used them, that's what.
Oh, you had to, but this is equipment that's already owned.
Yes, yes. Now my manpower
Okay.
was 12,000.
The material cost was 125,900 and the outside services was 20, comes up to 145. That does not include his machinery cost and manpower cost, but it includes outside services and material.
Actually, it's 146.
Okay, okay.
he asked for.
I vote in favor.
All right.
I vote in favor.
All right, so the only one voting opposed is Commissioner Phillips.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Item number 15, discuss, consider acceptance of a check from Calendar Lake POA in the amount of $6,287.40 and for the payment of coal mix authorized by interlocal agreement with Van Zandt County.
Yeah, this is my interlocal agreement with Calendar Lake. They're an HOA. We didn't do any of the work. We just, they bought the material. We bought the material. They're in reverse of this. We delivered the material out there. They did the work and they got the material at our cost and they're reimbursing us for $62.87.40 for the material. So I approved to accept the reimbursement check.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. Item number 16, discuss and consider authorizing the transfer of 2021 Ford Explorer VIN number 1FM5K8AB8MGB 54223, inventory item number 9322, license number 1449383 to emergency management with a value of $18,000. This process started after the budget passed in October of last year, in which we had budgeted $20,000 to replace Vicky's 2007 Tahoe that she's been using for emergency management, and replace it with an updated vehicle. And we started working with the DA office, and we had agreed on an expedition to use, and before it got transferred and accepted to us, the engine blew on it. And it ended up going into an auction instead with Renee Bates. And so we didn't do it. So we continued on, and I'll let.
Thank you, Judge. This is, as Judge said, this is a process that started several months ago. After the last budget, the DA's office is approved for 2 investigators. Each of those investigators, as a part of their compensation, is provided a vehicle. This is a vehicle that has been replaced in my inventory with a 2026 vehicle. That makes this vehicle excess. It's been sitting in my parking lot. In fact, we had to put a battery on it because that's how long it had been since it had been used. It's an excess vehicle that's been replaced. Rather than sending it to auction and getting a lower price for it, I agreed to accept reimbursement from the county for it and allow it to be used by emergency management. It's a county-owned vehicle. It's not a forfeiture-owned vehicle. I know I could keep it. I know there are other officials, elected officials, who when the county replaces their vehicles, they insist on keeping their old ones. I don't see any need for it to sit in my parking lot and not be used when I can help the county out by transferring it to another department.
And your office has 2 investigators and they currently both have vehicles.
My office has 2 investigators and we have 4 vehicles right now, 2 excess vehicles, yes.
So the investigators have vehicles.
The investigators.
And this one's not being used.
Right, this one's not being used.
Understood.
So my question is, Mitch, you're being an expert on this. I get your point 100%, Tonda. I get it 100%, but then we had Richard come in here earlier saying he may want to use it.
Well, and let me address that. If Richard had any concerns about it, we had 3 or 4 email conversations yesterday about other topics.
No.
I don't know why he didn't ask me. I was surprised to see him here this morning, to hear what he had to say. But this was in the works. Judge Reese and I have been working on the paperwork and the exact parameters of the deal long before the election was over. It's an excess vehicle. Unless y'all are gonna approve more investigators, which I haven't asked for in this year's budget. Unless you're just gonna, for some reason, give me more investigators that I don't ask for, this is an excess vehicle.
Yeah. I just didn't want to get in a situation where, like we do with Mitch, because we talked about it, where, you know, he sold everything and you come in there with nothing and you're still building from it now. So I know it's.
Do you think Richard doesn't know what your inventory is? I mean, he was pretty adamant about wanting to have that vehicle.
I think he does not know what my inventory is. I think he does not know that we bought a new 2026 to replace this vehicle.
Do we have to do it today?
No.
I don't know. I just out of respect for him, do you think we should ask him if he like he knows?
I think we should, because I don't want to see something. I know this is only one vehicle where yours was 20. And we regretted doing it. And I don't want to go there again, because I mean, I do. Tonda's still the DA and she wants to do what she wants to do, but you also have one coming in who may want it. So I think we got to work with both parties. And I think we learned that lesson.
Have we already promised this to this other department? I guess we have, right?
I've driven it the last week to test it out, and I have it at a shop to be inspected, and I just got a quote for $1,000 to do transmission service on it. So.
Let me ask this.
You know, I don't know. Here's the deal. The vehicle fits the parameters of what the emergency management coordinator needs. One of the things that she requested is to have lights on it, so that when they're out in the field viewing damages, then people will know that it's official.
Okay.
When I say emergency lights.
Right. So let me ask this: if we tabled this, you know, and Tonda's not using it, and have Vicky use it, and then we'll get with Richard, and then we'll figure something out with what he wants to do and what we want to do, and we'll work through it. But why can't she just use it temporarily for now? Just because it's under the DA's office doesn't mean Vicky can't drive it, right?
Exactly. And that exactly. I mean, otherwise it's going to go back to sitting in my parking lot.
So why don't we just have Vicky use it until we come to a decision? And if Richard says he's going to use it, then we give it back to him in January, and we figure out something to do.
All right. So we won't have any work done on it. Then we'll just bring it back.
I wouldn't say no.
That's not what we said.
If it
Well,
needs fixing.
no, because it's going to come out of emergency management budget unless the DA wants to pay for it, and she may want to get a second opinion on that. So,
Then I think
we don't have to make the decision to that.
Then I think Richard and Tony need to get together and talk about it and see what's going to be used for, and then we can make a decision, because we don't want it to sit there and just rot when it's $1,000 transmission. Get it fixed and let's start using it.
I got a bay, you can put it in if you need to. I mean, put it in my yard if you need to, out of your parking lot.
All right, is there a motion?
I'm kind of being parking lot, but I don't.
No,
I'm just trying to be a good neighbor, basically, and not have an asset that just sits there.
Yeah, we should be using it. Doesn't mean we have to transfer it. But we should be using it if it's usable. Give it to Vicky, let her use it, and then when we have the new DA come in, we figure out what we're gonna do.
All right, there's a motion to table.
No, I think, Brandon, what's your motion?
My motion is to table it and get it fixed, give it to Vicky, let her use it until January 1st, have Tonda and Richard talk about it. And then when they talk about it, they come back to the court and we get it transferred, or we don't get it transferred. But do no transfer today, but we need to get it fixed.
Who's gonna fix? Let's table it and talk to Richard and see what he wants to do. Cause
We can still do everything else that you said.
out of what
We
budget?
don't need to put it in motion, we just need to table this.
Okay, table it.
What budget is it gonna, I mean, okay.
But we don't need to let it sit there for 6 months.
Correct. There's something
All right.
go wrong with it.
So there's a motion to table by Brandon. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Talking to me or Bobby?
You know, it's just I won't discuss. I'm just gonna abstain.
All right, Bobby. Puts it on me, huh?
Yep.
Well, I'll say yes to the tabling. Okay, so it passes. All right, let me go back. Let's see, did I finish item number? Well, yeah, we'll come back to that one. We can do a lot. What? Item number 18, discuss consider annual license renewal for Santos Luna DBA Luna Towing of 2924 Thistlewood Drive, Seagoville, Texas 75159 to operate an automotive wrecking and salvage yard located 30782 State Highway 64 Wills Point, Van Zandt County, Texas 75169.
This is in my precinct. I thought the fire marshal would be here, but I don't, I talked to him and he said everything was good, but I think I disagree with him to a point because the parking lot is just dirt. And when we get into winter, it's gonna end up just like it was last time that we had it in here. And they don't. I've been by there a few times, it's been mowed, and I've been by there a few times and it hadn't been mowed. And it's right there on 64, right in Myrtle Spring. And we're trying to clean things up, make it better. But yet at the same time, they've got stuff parked outside from time to time. And I feel like that they need a better entrance and parking area. A rock instead of dirt. Keegan, do you have any comments on that?
Gonna give you a list.
You what?
Do they comply with the statute as it is?
Place, they have a culvert that has created all kinds of damage down 64, their neighbor, the road, everything, they still haven't fixed it.
I suggest we table this until we get further information.
Get the fire marshal.
And the fire marshal, yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think the fire marshal enforces clogged culverts,
No.
but I could be wrong.
Probably
I
not.
could be wrong.
But that's a state highway, it's on. It's not mine.
Okay. So is there a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Hey, on that last table with Tonda's deal, Tonda, can you and Richard get together pretty quick so we can put this on the next agenda and get it done? Okay.
All right, item number 19 is just consider approval of the Post Oaks Estate subdivision plat located in Van Zandt County Road 3908 in precinct 3.
Yes, this is one of mine. It's 4 lots It's a tier two and, everything is, they've got everything turned in, everything's took care of, and, I make a motion that we approve.
And how many lots are there?
Four.
4 lots.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. A motion, item number 19.
Who
passes.
seconded it?
I did.
Mitch.
Commissioner Curtis. Item number 20, discuss and consider an addition of filing of covenants and restrictions to the filing of subdivision application.
All right, I'll put this on here. I talked to some surveyors. And there's no covenants restricted that are on the checklist or filed before the plat. So what I think we should do, it's always something with subdivisions, we need to revamp them, but I think we need to add the covenants and restrictions, whether there are or are not any, to the checklist, and they need to be filed before the plat. That's not being done right now, and I think that needs to be recorded before we get into any more problems with the covenants and restrictions and the subdivisions. So my motion is to add covenants and restrictions, whether there is or whether there is some or not any, to the checklist, and they be filed before the plat.
Okay, so this isn't actually modifying the subdivision guidelines. This is modifying the procedures we use, correct?
The checklist with something.
Right.
And from a legal perspective,
What happens is a lot of times these developers will have a potential property owners association or HOA. Individuals go out and purchase lots without these restrictions in place, these restrictions in place. And somebody will purchase a lot. Well, they're buying subject to whatever is on that property at that point in time. And then subsequently, the developer will implement the deed restrictions. Well, the individual who purchased a lot initially is now under those deed restrictions are supposed to be, but because they purchased prior to the deed restrictions, they're not subject to them. So it causes a lot of issues for subsequent buyers of those lots or previous buyers of those lots. Now the developer has to go back and get everybody to approve deed restrictions, and it becomes a hassle. Whereas if the deed restrictions were in place prior to the subdivision being developed, any buyers of the property would know exactly what those deed restrictions were prior to buying. So, well, the issue is that, as Mr. Randy pointed out, is that they need to be in place prior to the plat being covered. All deed restrictions.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
So, but there's nothing in the subdivision guidelines that this is going to affect. It's only on our checklist. That's correct. Because my concern is that we keep making changes to the subdivision guideline, and nobody keep up with what the current version is. We should do major changes once a year and do that. But anyway, so is there a motion?
I motion.
Brandon motion. Okay. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Item 21.
let's table 21.
All right.
That's my motion. I need to update the local government code numbers here. And what this has to do with is, if you have a big subdivision, you need to have 2 entrances and exits, because if there's just one, and that's where an accident occurs, nobody can get in or out, or a fire, or whatever the case may be. So I need to update the local government code on this, and then we'll bring it back before the court. But
Okay.
that's also a subdivision issue as well.
So should we have a workshop on subdivision about any other changes to make at the same time?
That's a that's a lot of months, but we have subdivisions that are contemplated in precinct 3 that are 1,800 rooftops, and this needs to be in place before that's contemplated. So I would prefer that we adjust, and not only that, but actually the language in the government code related to that issue in 232.004, it says the Commissioners Court shall adopt infrastructure standards. And so I think we shall, ASPCA.
Not
Flip,
may, we
Flip,
shall.
instead of tabling, can we just amend the government code to the 232.004?
Well, I'd like to, but when I put together this particular agenda item, I referenced the wrong one. And so I think we need to have the right local government code number on this in order to do it.
So there's been a motion to table item 21. Is there a second?
I'll say.
All right, and all those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. We will now go, we can do item number 8 now or do consent agenda. Let's do consent agenda real quick. Consent agenda items considered routine or considered enacted one motion and no separate discussion on these items unless county judge commissioner requests an item be pulled. Is there any items that need to be pulled? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Now we go back to number 8. Discuss, consider the election of a county assistance district by precinct.
Yes, I put this on here. So we're all aware what we're gonna try to do in November. I think we've got our ducks in a row to have it on the ballot. And I'm proposing to do it by precinct because every precinct is different. And that's really why I want to do it by precinct. I mean, everybody has different needs or wants per precinct in this county. And we'll have the constituents of each precinct vote to see if they want a county assistant district. And then we'll move forward. So I'm voting to make the election for the county assistant district by precinct.
And I will second that.
Okay, so there's nothing right now, but we will have to come back now with the order of election to approve for each precinct, correct?
That's a Tony question.
That would be the next, once we have decided to do this, and I didn't, Brandon did it and
I'm not a lawyer.
okay. So what we're doing is say, let's move forward with it. Now we'll come back with order of election, 4 orders of elections to approve at the next commissioner court meeting.
And one thing Nancy said, she was 99% right. She left 1% off. We are paying it in some places, but not all. So we are paying it, but we're not paying it everywhere. There are some businesses that are charging the 6 1/4, but a lot are charging 8 1/4. So we are paying it. We're not paying it everywhere.
All right, motion is made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. We will come back. Now we will go into a closed executive session. In compliance with section 551.074 of the state government code to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, disciplines, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee. So it is now, what is that, 10 till? 11:51 is when we will go out of, and 11:52.
Yeah, you were saying that we're not paying it everywhere. There's some spots that we are.
Who put this on the agenda?